was enough, exactly 80 seconds. The right angle against the southpaw, one clean hit, an instant finish, and the belt is back on Alex Pereira's hips. The rematch with Magomed Ankalaev ended before most people had time to settle down on the couch. Pereira regained the light heavyweight title and avenged his March defeat in the harshest possible way. Now to the point. What exactly broke down for Ankalaev, and what did Pereira bring to the table? First, the pace. Pereira did not wait for exchanges, as in the first fight, when he allowed Magomed to stretch out the episodes, freeze the center, and accumulate points with kicks to the body and shins. Then Ankalaev won by decision, worked up volume, and even took segments by controlling the clinch at the fence, even though he was unable to fully take Poatan to the mat. However, it was precisely control, kicks, and discipline that gave him the victory in March. In the rematch, Pereira came out with a different mindset: to break the rhythm immediately, turn off the accuracy setting of the left-handed counterpuncher, and not give up an inch along the fence. It was a conscious bet on early pressure, where the risk is offset by the predictability of the opponent's responses. Against a southpaw, an orthodox boxer with a kickboxing background has two quickest ways to attack: a right straight along the open stance line and a low kick to the inside of the lead leg's thigh. The first key worked. A straight right through a step out, closing the distance without looking, and Ankalaev's entire position was destroyed. He was in an even stance, his body did not have time to pull his head back behind his front shoulder, and his chin remained in the line of attack. Second, the geometry of the cage. Ankalaev is very good when he holds the center himself. His left straight and front kicks to the body form a barrier that must be jumped over. But as soon as he is forced to work along the fence, specifically along and not sideways, he switches to what many strikers call a reactive takedown. Not planned footwork, but a rescue after a shakeup. This is psychologically understandable, but dangerous against a man who has the best sprawl crossface reaction in the division from the clinch and monstrous power in his short elbows. After the knockdown, Pereira did not rush into action. Heavy, accurate strikes from above, wrist control, head displacement behind the counter apic line. Technical analysis of Magomed's key mistake. He traditionally economizes his movements. That's his plus. But economizing requires a pre-prepared position to get out of the net. A step turn on the supporting leg, a counter jab hand, a throw of the clinch through the headrest armpit. At the moment when Pereira's right reached its target, Ankalaev did not have a pre-prepared ladder down. Neither a sharp dive behind the hips with a transition to one-sided control, nor a hard over-under to stick to the fence. As a result, he ends up in a mixed situation, half transfer, half clinch, against a heavier striker, who is more dangerous in such mixed phases than in a pure stance. Short distance, elbows, hammer punches, positional pressure with the chest. There is no need to catch cleanly. It is enough not to let go. Now, why is this not luck but a pattern? Pereira does not have sprinter exchanges in a vacuum. He reads positions. He does not look for the chin. He forces his opponent to take a position in which the chin is exposed. The logic is simple. 1. Push the southpaw into a right-handed turn. 2. Take the outside foot out of the line of his left hand. 3. Strike at the moment of the empty frame, when the opponent's leading hand no longer covers the center. Yes, Poatan has a legendary left hook, but it is the right straight to an open stance that is the fastest switch when you are calculating trajectories rather than combinations. There was a lot of talk about March and Pereira's supposedly mysterious decline. After the rematch, he said himself that he wasn't in perfect condition then. But now it's a different story. And if in the first fight he accepted Ankalaev's pace, here he imposed his own and didn't let the southpaw turn the game around with kicks and counterattacks. The result was one of the cleanest revenge victories in the new light heavyweight division. It is also important to note the mental image of the evening. Instead of the standard "who's next," he asked for a minute of silence in honor of Arthur Jones, John Jones's brother. For such a predator, this is a rare detail, and it explains why Pereira is so resilient under pressure. He has no unnecessary noise in his head, only tasks. What exactly should Ankalaev do to make a comeback? Start the round not with reading, but with an establishing rhythm. A front kick to the solar plexus and a low kick to the outside of the shin are good, but without a counter jab-stitched hook with the right hand against orthodox, they are not intimidating. He needs to command respect early on, then Pereira won't go in a straight line. Ready to get out of the clinch, step back. Plus, Turn your shoulders, don't slide parallel to the fence. In training, 1,000 empty repetitions until your body does it automatically. And yes, if you do a reactive pass, then not head out under the opponent's elbow, but through a double grip of the hips with an immediate lift and gluing the knees to the floor. Otherwise, it's better not to even start. Protection from a right straight punch is to move your head inward with a slip inside and an instant cross response, not a step back. Moving away along the line against such pressure will not save you. What's next for Pereira? Intra-division showdown. On the same card, Jiří Procházka knocked out Khalil Roundtree in the third round. A logical contender marker. Pereira-Procházka is always a spectacle and always a risk, but now the Brazilian has a new trump card. Not just interception, but an oppressive starting pace. If Jiří gets caught up in the chaos in the first 2 minutes, he may find himself back on the line of the right straight. If he holds out and breaks the distance, he has angles that many use to break Pereira. It's a fair chess game with a 55-45 chance in favor of the champion, precisely because he has proven that he can impose his game plan from the very first second. Outside the division, Khamzat Chimaev has already made his voice heard, calling for a cross-division mega fight. In the media, he's a powerhouse, but in sports, there are questions. Chimaev, as a middleweight champion, is quick to get into the legs, apply pressure against the fence, and move positions. But against Pereira, who has been phenomenally good at reading reactive passes in recent fights, any long-range shots without a solid series of hands turn into a trap for elbow shammers. On the other hand, in the open 30-foot octagon, Chimaev knows how to shift to double single at speed, and there, he will have to test not only Pereira's first sprawl, but also his second floor, getting out of the down position after a biting transfer. This is hyperbole, but timing and weight are a different story. Alternatives in 205, Jamahal Hill, Carlos Ulberg. Hill has experience in rear foot fighting and the ability to pull himself in, while Ulberg is a systematic kicker with distance discipline. Both give the champion different chess moves. But at the moment, the most correct sport is Jiří. He won. He's next in line. Why the knockout in the rematch happened so quickly? Briefly, without mysticism. Open stance, right-handed against left-handed, plus Pereira's outside foot corridor for a right cross. Ankalaev did not have time to put up a frame with his leading hand. Empty center. An unforced error at the fence. A reactive pass without depth. Pereira's best short punches in the division from above. Insurance against prolonging the episode. Herb Dean stopped the fight after a series of accurate hits. No controversial moments. And one last thing. Pereira is not just a knockout artist. He is a man who removes the unnecessary from the equation. He translates a complex fight into simple solutions. Position, strike, finish. When you have such power, the temptation to hunt is enormous. But he hunts with discipline. That's why 80 seconds is not a sensation, but a demonstration of the maturity of a champion who knows how to solve problems quickly. Today, he took back the light heavyweight world, and he did it in such a way that it became clear to everyone. You can't live half around with him and then get involved. With him, you have to start playing chess from 0 seconds. To summarize for the division, Pereira is once again the pace coordinator at 205. Any contender must prove that they can survive the first 2 minutes without losing their system. If not, the title will go to those who make fewer mistakes. Today, Ankalaev made a mistake. Now it's his turn to respond in the octagon. Not with numbers, but with corrections.